Hey y'all, Scott here. Today I have a real treat for you. Instead of bumbling about it, let's get straight into the demo track I created for this video. So I can't even begin to explain how much fun I had with this one. It's pretty rare these days that I can sit and tinker around with a single instrument or plugging for hours, but Vocalise 2 from Heavyocity had me well into the late hours of the night messing with it. Before we get too far, I must thank Ari Winters for providing me with this review copy of Vocalise 2. It's a very cool tool to add different dimensions and depth to music, and regardless of genre, I think this is something you guys could do well with checking out. I will explain why in this video, starting with the store page. Yes, how could I begin without showing you the store page? Right out the gate, I'd like to make it clear that while this is a Kontakt instrument, you do not need a full version of Kontakt, so this library will work with the free Kontakt player. Just put it in your, just putting your mind at ease. If we go to the requirements tab, it says so right here. So you might be thinking, righto, Scotty boy. This is a movie scoring tool. How did you get the idea that this could work with metal? Well, I actually really love movie scores, and the idea of being able to inject some more atmosphere and dynamic quality into my music always makes me happy. So it really wasn't that hard to think up the idea of how it could work. Anyway, you can read a lot of cool information about Vocalise 2 here on their page, and as all great companies do, they have a good amount of videos and audio to check out, as well as a very in-depth manual. Oh yeah, this thing is only $99 at the time of this video. It's quite nicely priced and very affordable in my opinion. You don't need any other software. You can just buy this outright and use it. Before we leave into the DAW, I did want to note that they do have a proper manual as I just stated, but they will explain things in more detail. As a complete and total bit-by-bit breakdown of Vocalise in this video, it's just, I can't do that. It's not the scope of this video. This thing would be like 2 hours long. So that said, let's start looking at the interface. I'm actually a big fan of the interface. Now it changes based on some of the instruments that you're using, but it's more or less laid out the same. It reminds me of some kind of, like outer space, and for some reason it's just inspiring to me. I really like it. At first, all the knobs were a bit overwhelming, but when you realize it's just, like delay, distortion, attack, and just, and sustain, all that stuff, it's really not that intimidating. As I mentioned, if I went through absolutely everything, this would be a stupid long video. So there's a manual for that. I'm just going to cover the few specific things that I think are pretty cool and that, that I believe that you should know about. So when you're working with these solo dynamic instruments, you can go to the sample knob here and actually offset the sample, offset the start of the sample. So allowing you to jump ahead in the sample, which will help you create new lines and new melodies. That way you can avoid just using the same round robin, same samples that everyone else would use. So by offsetting your sample, you can change the beginning of the note, where the sample starts, and you can get some very unique results. Also, you've got 4 parameters right in the instrument here. So this would be mix, pitch, punish, and twist. That'll allow you to change the dynamics of the samples pretty drastically. Aside from the parameters, you have 4 different pages. So we're looking at the main page right now. Then you have the EQ and filter page, the effects page, and the motion pages. Clicking through these, you'll see they are quite comprehensive all on their own. You will need to consult the manual here. I really can't go through these pages in detail because every single one of these pages could be a video in and of itself. And really, in a strange way, that's just about it. The interface can be intimidating, as I said, but the manual will help. And all that being said, it was easy and not hard at all to be inspired and to start coming up with lines and musical ideas. And when I fired this thing up, it was just, I feel it's really important to say this because while it has many unique and intricate features, and you can dive deep into this instrument for real, really, but at the core of it, it was just so easy to load it up and start playing and become inspired. That's a really cool thing that I haven't really experienced before in the past, and I have to really give credit to Vocalise too, because when I loaded up the instrument and just started dabbling with it, just ideas were coming out of my booty, and I just had to get started with it. I'd like to, again, specifically thank Ari Winters for providing me with this review copy of Vocalise 2. I highly, highly recommend it to anybody who, for example, would be in the post-black or atmospheric black metal genres, or anybody that does any type of film, sound, or video game work, or anyone really who would just like to add extra layers of dynamic and atmospheric qualities into their music, regardless of the genre. I think this has applicational use for anybody, depending on what they're doing, if they know exactly what they want to achieve. That does it for me, everyone. Thanks a lot for checking out this video. I'll see you in the next one.